Hello, it is your sleepless god back, or here, or present, or in this universe with something also new because I'm getting kind of interested. And also, I love fucking Bleach. I love Bleach. I'm sorry, kids. You can't stop me. I love Bleach. Bleach fans were quiet. We're very quiet about our love of Bleach because no one likes to state that we love Bleach, but we do. We love Bleach so much because we always like when someone starts talking about Bleach, you're like, you watched Bleach? Yes. So this is something different. This is something new. I'm mixing two animes of the big three together. What if Ichigo has Kaido's devil fruit? Now, let's start with some lore. Because I shouldn't actually start with lore. When Ichigo's mother's died, that's when the devil fruit popped up. Kaido's devil fruit. Ichigo's mother's grave is where it's popped up in. And it was calling out to him as like a beast, a monster, something trying to make him his hands move before they could. And he ate the devil fruit. And gave him the ability, gave the fruit itself called the fish fruit model dragon. It's a little bit different than Kaido's, and we'll explain that when we go. But his body's morphed and changed and kind of became more scale-like. As one of his hands became white as snow. As his body became tight with spirit, with energy. Ichigo has been fighting hollows for a long period of time now. His abilities are able to see them. And with the transformation of his actual, dragon transformation, he can fight them. And he could kill them. And because, as we know from One Piece, because soul is soul related, he actually can deal damage to them. As well as not send them to the Soul Society, but deal enough where others lower ranking Soul Society members or Soul Reapers can finish it off. And he's been doing this for many, many years now. As this is where we pop up in the first episode of the anime. Ichigo Kurosaki. He is, at this current moment in time, doing push-ups, one-arm push-ups as he's shirtless. Cranking them out, one after another. As, he goes downstairs, meeting with his little sisters as he can see them being happy. And he sits down, eats food with his family as his dad attacks him, easily grabs him and flips him over his head. As he goes on his little trips. Ichigo's little trips are different than what he normally does. He does visit ghosts, but he also visits areas full of usually high-ranking, to say the least, hollows. He makes them rush out, makes them attack him, makes him the target. Even after all of this, some Soul Society members come out, but he has to weaken it first. But first, he gets the little girl and gives her flowers, trying to make her pass on to the Soul Society. Starts to talk to her for a little bit. Starts to mention a couple things as a ginormous monster blast out. As Ichigo says, run. He says it quietly first. The girl doesn't move. She's frightened. he screams it out. Run! As he runs away, as Ichigo goes into what we will call Dragon Level 1 transformation. Half is one of his arms is completely white and armorized. The rest of his body is scale-like, and his face, half of it is, he almost seems like a dragon mask, covering half his face, as he, looks at him, as the hollow bites down on Ichigo's body, as Ichigo grabs him. As the energy from the bite, the soul energy, he takes it and puts into the hand fully armored, as he does a massive right hook to it, slamming the creature down as he jumps up and smashes the creature down as hard as he physically possibly can. And he goes boom, 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 as he hits back up, as the creature gets back up bigger than he thought. This creature's a monster, he knows. As the creature actually hits him, sending him back, hitting into a wall and crushing a couple of buildings as he gets up, as his body is hard. And you see blue energy popping through him. The dragon the fish fruit that he did has an ability to it. Whenever kinetic energy goes through it, he can now use that. Kinetic energy, physical energy, or any type of energy. That is, it has to be hit or he has to be hit or get hit by it. He can now use it as a force. He can use it as what he calls spirit punch. As he rushes out, using some of the spiritual energy that he got, or physical energy, kinetic energy, any energy that you want to say. Putting out his hand and putting enough energy into it to blast a building in half, as he takes a step and hits him, sending it flying as he launches it down, as he going to hit it again, as it pops up and launches away, disappearing from sight. As he says, fuck, turns back down to normal Ichigo form, as he says, that was a close one. As he feels a couple of his ribs are a little bit shooken from that kick. Even though Ichigo can take the kinetic energy, he still takes the damage involved with it. So he's not invulnerable. He still hurts. And that pain, it's the problem with it. As he heads off to a couple more of his locations, beating up a couple more hollows, seeing them get... I also want you to know that he doesn't technically know full about Soul Reapers, but he kind of know the process of how they become dead. He has heard a couple of them as he's, making sure the hollow is going to be, sent to the right place. He has heard a couple of them talk about it. With that, though, we finally get to the point where he's done with his missions and done with his stuff. As he is woken up by a girl, almost a woman, seems correct. Short hair, sword. As he looks up and he sees what we know as Rukia Kutsuki. As, why are you standing in my window? As Rukia is a little bit shocked. No one can see her usually, but, weird people. As Rukia says, you can... As Ichigo grabs her and pulls her down, saying, why are you standing in my window? As Rukia fucking freaks out on him and says, "Why did you push me down?" I said, "Because you were standing in my window. That's fucking weird." As both of them start kind of yelling at each other a little bit, but Ichigo hears a boom sound down from downstairs. Something big. As Rukia says, "We'll finish this conversation later," as she busts down the door and rushes out. As she comes to a massive hollow. As Ichigo comes out, as it seems like the hollow that he was fighting. But he's gotten bigger. And there's more of them. As Rukia says, "Please, do not come closer. They're dangerous." As Rukia got hit by a single tail whip. As you heard a crack. As he says he's gonna rush out to try to save her. Doesn't know her name. As Rukia puts him onto her chains and puts him down. As he says, "What do you?" As one of the monsters come down. As she dodges the tail whip, another dodge, another dodge, another dodge. She keeps on moving and dodging, trying to get an angle, but she can't. There's too many of them, and they're too strong. And she knows at any chance, if she messes up once, it's death. As he starts cracking the chains, as Ichigo rips the chains apart, free himself as he goes into Dragon Transformation 1, as he launches forward at the biggest one and punches it in the face as hard as he possibly can, launching it backwards, as he feels a tail whip hits him in the stomach, cracking a rib, as he takes that kinetic energy, puts it into the next one, and smashes it down, putting pressure on it, as Rukia sees him. As shocked, but a tail whip hits her. She feels a couple of her bones break as she launches forward a couple of inches. Ichigo catches her as landing on someone else, as sets her down and says, "I'll handle this." As Rukia says, "Do you think you can?" He says, "I don't know if I can't try." Let's go for it. As he launches forward, doing a couple of punches at the creature, trying to dodge a couple of blows, but most of them land as he feels the kinetic energy goes through his body, but he also feels the pain as he dodges one of them, hits it into the face with a sickening crack of its mask as he goes up and smashes it down as possible. But with that, the openings count for as two of the tail whips hit him as hard as he possibly can on his armor, and he still takes it, but his hands are getting weak. As Rukia says, "Come over here." As Ichigo dodges a blow, flipping over, and she says, What do you need now? Are you gonna die or something? I don't think ghosts can die. It's not in the program, right?" As he dodges another tail whip, she pulls out her sword. Glowing sword. He says, "Take it. Just summon my Soul Reaper powers. It should give you enough to fight these guys off." As he does a backflip, landing. It says, "If I don't, your family will die." As he pictures his mother again in his eyes, pictures that experience, as he grabs Rukia's hands. As before a tail whip hits him, he pierces his body with that sword. As you see the whiteness on his body, the armor on it glistens as it becomes almost more sturdy. As his mask on the side of his face change a little bit to a monstrous format, as it's not just covering half his face now, it's covering the full force. As Rukia says, you almost look like Hollow. As Ichigo's sword is not also the big, massive sword. It's almost tiny in some sense of the word. Not really tiny, I should say, but it's a club in some sense of the word. It's a massive club with spikes coming off of it as he swings it, as he feels the pressure, as he swings it again, and it changes into a sword. That massive sword that we know from our experiences with the bleach, as he slices one of them in half with ease, and slicing and the other one and then slicing both of them in half with so much quickness it scares himself, as he feels his body fixing itself slowly, as he says, "What do you call this?" And Rukia says, "A substitute Soul Reaper." Kind of like that. As this is where we're going to end the video. Hope you guys like it. Coming out with other videos later, but I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.